Welcome to the workshop on adopting, adapting and authoring OERs. I'd like to begin with an acknowledgement of country. Charles Darwin University acknowledges the traditional owners of country across Australia and pays respect to elders past and present. We acknowledge First Nations peoples' long history of sustaining their communities and environments over thousands of years. They are the first educators and the first innovators. In today's workshop, we will be looking at what are OERs, or Open Educational Resources, why we should use OERs. We'll explore the new CDU OER Discovery Collection. We'll look at how to find OERs in other collections and talk about how you can contact us in the library for more assistance with your OERs. What are OERs? Open Educational Resources, or OER, are teaching, learning and research materials that are either in the public domain or have been released under an open license. These licenses specify how content can be used. OERs can include textbooks, often referred to as open textbooks, curricula, syllabi, lecture notes, assignments, tests, projects, audio, video and software. To be considered a true OER, the license should give users the right to retain, reuse, revise, remix, and redistribute the material for educational purposes. According to David Wiley's definition, a true OER is one that is either 1. In the public domain, or 2. Licensed in a manner that provides everyone with free and perpetual permission to engage in the 5R activities. And in the visual in front of you, you will see the actual 5 Rs broken down into more detail. Retain. Users have the right to make, archive, and own copies of the content. Reuse. Content can be reused in its unaltered form. Remix. The original or revised content can be combined with other content to create something new. Revise. Content can be adapted, adjusted, modified, or altered. Redistribute. Copies of the content can be shared with others in its original, revised, or remixed form. So why should we use open educational resources? There are a number of reasons, one being affordability. Every student has free access to the same learning materials, as opposed to using often traditional textbooks. Access and accessibility. Students have permanent free access to resources in multiple formats, not just in print. Equity. OER can help improve grades, particularly for students from low socioeconomic and culturally diverse backgrounds. Retention. Students using open textbooks are more likely to complete their studies than those using commercial texts. Deeper learning. OER enable academics to customize their curriculum, creating deeper engagement for students. And diversity. OERs can reflect diversity in student populations by including gender-neutral language, culturally diverse names, and First Nations representation and recognition. So recently, CDU have collated an online OER discovery collection. This collection can actually be accessed via the CDU Library main homepage 24/7 and can be accessed by academics, students and the public. So if we actually move to a live demonstration, I will show you the CDU OER Discovery Collection and how to access that. So it's a matter of going to the library main homepage and looking for the link that says Open Resources underneath the library search toolbar. Clicking on Open Resources, And then you actually get to the next screen, which actually has a number of tiles on this particular screen, the visual tiles. You can see that we have our 3 CDU faculties at the top. So the Faculty of Arts and Society, the Faculty of Health, and the Faculty of Science and Technology. We then have a number of different sub-collections, including CDU TAFE on the next line, including Maths and Statistics, Research, and then on the last line we have First Nations collection, CDU Open Book Publishing, and General OERs. So if you hover over each of the tiles, it will come up with a written description of what is contained in that particular sub-collection. So, for example, under the Faculty of Arts and Society, we have resources that relate to accounting and finance, architectural design, arts, society and culture, business, education, enabling pathways, humanitarian and disaster resilience, and law. If you wish to access that particular sub-collection, just click on the tile itself and you'll come to the next layer of our OER Discovery Collection. Here you can see that we have broken down the actual faculties into disciplines, into subject areas, and you can actually access the open educational resources within each subject area. So for example, we could go into accounting and finance, and you have the open educational resources in front of you. You have the visual book cover image, you also have the title, and to actually then read the actual open educational resource, matter of clicking onto the title or the book cover, and you'll come to the metadata screen here, and it's a matter of looking under the heading View Online and clicking on the full text availability that may be available. Takes a few seconds to load up, and then you'll actually see a bit of a summary of the book. You'll also see the cover again, and then you have some different options to access the book. You could read the book by clicking on the Read Book button here. You can also download this book, and if you click on this little drop-down menu, you'll see the different formats that are available to you. Here, for this particular resource, we have EPUB, digital PDF, and print PDF. And so if you were to click on one of those, for example, if you were going to look at the digital PDF, it then opens it up at the top here, and you can then actually view it as a PDF. It will go up to your actual documents, and then you can view that. If you wish to read the book, as mentioned before, you can actually click on the button here, or you can actually just scroll down and you can look at the contents of that particular book. So we have some front matter here, such as the introduction and details about the book and the authors. And then we actually have some of the actual content, the main body of the book and the different chapters. So if I was interested in Introduction to Finance in Chapter 1, just a matter of clicking on that, talks about the learning objectives, and then it starts looking at the content itself. So what is finance? Why study finance? And so on and so forth. And it's just a matter of scrolling through, and there may be visuals and other learning activities that you might wish to take part in terms of that particular book. There's also a menu at the top for most of the open educational resources. It says contents. If you click on that particular drop-down menu, it is, as we saw on the screen before, it has the chapters and the front matter of the book. So you can go into the different sections. If you'd like to have a look at the whole book all at once, one of the better options is to actually print or view the PDF or the digital PDF, as opposed to looking at on the screen here as we are at the moment. Okay, so if we are to move back into our collection, you can notice that there are more books that you can actually access within that sub-collection. Moving back, You might like to check out the education subtile. And once again, the books are listed here in no particular order, and then you can access them just as we did with the Introduction to Finance text. If we jump back to the main tiles on the first screen when you enter the CDU OER Discovery Collection, you'll notice that we actually have our faculty tiles, but we also have some more general or tiles as well that relate to different areas. So if you are researching at CDU, you can enter this collection here and you'll notice things such as research and evidence in practice, research and writing skills for academic and graduate researchers, introducing scoping and systematic reviews. And they're just some of the titles available to you in that particular sub-collection. Our First Nations collection involves a whole range of First Nations texts across a wide range of subject areas. So we have Engineering with Country and a Yolngu Philosophy Reader. These are two CDU authored open texts, which we're very proud of. And then we actually have others, such as Cultural Knowledges and Work Integrated Learning. And so you can keep scrolling down and looking at the text we have in that sub-collection. You may come to the end of the screen and it might actually indicate for you to load more items. If you just click on that button, then you'll notice that there are actually even more texts that we have added to this collection that you may wish to peruse at your own leisure. Okay. We also have a collection that says CDU Open Book Publishing. Once again, these are authored by CDU academics and students, and we hope to add to this collection in the near future. And finally, we actually have general OERs. OERs that go across a range of different subject areas and that everyone can access. And so we have put these here. So we have things such as open pedagogy approaches, the art of relearning, a guide to academic readiness. We have communication and teamwork, how to think critically, and the list goes on. So please feel free to access our CDU OER Discovery Collection, share it with your colleagues and with your students. And also if you have anything you'd like to add to the collection that is an open educational resource, please let us know at the library and we will make sure that we add those resources for you. So jumping back to our presentation, there are also other ways of actually finding OERs. We can actually find OERs using OER search tools. Some of these search tools are known as OER meta finders, and they contain high quality open licensed educational materials. And you can look across multiple repositories and make the discovery of your open content easier. And some of the well-known OER meta finders include OASIS and the George Mason University. So they may be ones that you wish to explore further. Other general OER collections that cover a range of resource formats and media types include the OER Commons, Merlot, LibreText, and the Khan Academy. Other open textbook collections, which you can see on the screen in front of you, include BC Open Textbooks, the Call OER Collective Catalogue, Milne Open Textbooks, OAPEN Library, OpenStax, Open Textbook Library, and the Pressbooks Directory. In particular, the CAUL, or the Council of Australasian University Librarians, is based in Australasia, so Australia and New Zealand, and they have a wonderful catalogue of about 60 open educational resources based in this particular region. If you wish to access any of these collections, open textbook collections, please click on the link in the slides and you'll be able to access those. So when we talk about adopting, adapting and creating open educational resources, we need to look at how they are different. Adopting OER is when you use open material in its original format for your learning and teaching purposes. So you use an existing OER as is without making any changes. Adapting OER is when you take existing materials and change them to meet your learning and teaching needs. This can include revising and remixing materials, so you customize them. You might be customizing them to look at your particular geographical location. You may be customizing the OER to actually make it more relevant for your student cohort or the student population that you are actually referring to in terms of the content. And creating OER is probably the most time consuming. It's when you actually create an OER from scratch. So you design, you write, you license, and or you publish your own OER from the beginning. And this often occurs when you're not able to find an OER that meets your needs or the needs of your student cohort. CDU Library run a number of workshops throughout the semesters, and this does include our open educational resources workshops. You can see the screen in front of us as to what the view of our calendar looks like. So if you would like to actually book in for any workshops, including the open educational resources ones, you can actually go to the menu, a drop-down menu on our library main homepage, and it actually comes up with booking workshops. And we also have our link here to that particular page. Who works in the OER space at CDU? We have an open education librarian, and her contact details are seen on the screen in front of you. We also have our Teaching and Learning Connect team. So if you wish to learn more about anything to do with OERs, that team can certainly assist you. And we have our academic and research librarians. So please reach out to your academic and research librarians in your particular faculty areas, and they will be able to guide you in using OERs. If you have any questions in regards to this particular workshop or the content within the workshop, you can contact the library at askthelibrary@cdu.edu.au via email. You can contact us using our telephone number or SMS. And we also have a number of QR codes on this screen that can guide you to other library resources and services. Thank you.